Good morning, children. Welcome back to the English class. I'm your English teacher, Miss Rachna Chandarana, and I'm back with the fourth learning video for this week. In the three previous videos, we learned about simple present tense, present continuous tense, and we learned about a reading comprehension. The reading comprehension was from our book, that is Everyday English Grammar and Composition. It was a story about Birbal. Today, we are going to go ahead and do another reading comprehension. But the difference is today's one is an unseen one. So let's get going and see the comprehension. To start with, let me do a small recap of LSRW. If you remember, I told you what is LSRW. These are the four skills of the English language. L stands for listening, S stands for speaking, R stands for reading, and W stands for writing. Today, we are going to go ahead and do the reading skill. In reading skill, we will take up unseen reading comprehension. So children, let me remind you, what is reading comprehension? Reading comprehension means carefully reading some given text, understanding its meaning, and answering some questions based on the given text. Now let me recap the steps to follow for a reading comprehension. Step 1. Read the text, that is story, poem or passage carefully. Step 2. Try to look for important characters, incidents, ideas, thoughts and words in the passage and try to understand them. Step 3. Read the questions carefully. Step 4. Read the text, that is the story, poem or passage again. Step 5. Answer the questions in your own words. And step 6 is check if your answers are in complete and meaningful sentences. So these are the steps that we are going to follow to do today's reading comprehension. So let's get started. As I told you, today's reading comprehension is an unseen reading comprehension, which means it's a story that you might not have seen before. So let's get started with the reading comprehension. The name of the story is The Greedy Shepherd, and it is a moral story. The story is about a shepherd. So let's go ahead and read the story. One morning, an old shepherd was playing a flute while he was watching his sheep on the fields outside Rome. He played very sweetly. A lovely fairy came and listened to him. "Will you marry me and play to me in my home under the earth?" the fairy said. "Yes, yes, lovely lady," said the shepherd. She put a ring on his finger. He at once became a handsome youth dressed in bright clothes. "But I must first go to Rome and take leave of my friends," he said. The fairy gave him a golden coach and 12 white horses. When he rode to Rome, he met the young Queen of Italy. The Queen invited him to her place. The shepherd wished to marry the Queen and become the King of Italy. When he and the Queen were alone together, He took her hand, saying, "Marry me, dearest. I will help you to rule Italy." The name of the story is The Greedy Shepherd. One morning, an old shepherd was playing a flute while he was watching his sheep on the fields outside Rome. He played very sweetly. A lovely fairy came and listened to him. "Will you marry me and play to me in my home under the earth?" the fairy said. "Yes, yes, lovely lady," said the shepherd. She put a ring on his finger. He at once became a handsome youth dressed in bright clothes. "But I must first go to Rome and take leave of my friends," he said. So children, this is the story of a greedy shepherd who was a very, very beautiful flute player. I hope you all know what is a flute. It's a musical instrument which we put against our lips and we have to play it. We have to blow air into it and it plays a beautiful tune. So this shepherd was playing a flute while watching his sheep outside Rome one day. And he played so sweetly that the fairy who lived under the earth, she got very, very impressed. She fell in love with him. So she appeared in front of him. And she liked his flute playing so much that she wanted to marry him. The shepherd agreed very happily. He said he would definitely marry her. So the fairy put a ring on his finger, and at once the old ugly shepherd became a very handsome and young youth. He became a young man, and he was wearing lovely bright clothes. But the shepherd told the fairy that he had to go to Rome and he had to take leave of his friends, which means he wanted to bid goodbye to all his friends. Let's see the next part. The fairy gave him a golden coach and 12 white horses. When he rode to Rome, he met the young Queen of Italy. The Queen invited him to her palace. The shepherd wished to marry the Queen and become the King of Italy. When he and the Queen were alone together, he took her hand, saying, "Marry me, dearest. I will help you to rule Italy." But as soon as he spoke, he turned into an old and ugly shepherd. "What is this horrible beggar doing here?" cried the Queen. "Drive him out of the palace." This was done. The poor shepherd went back to the fields to find the fairy, but she never came to him again. So he remained a shepherd. So children, in this part, the fairy was very kind and sweet, and because she was in love with the shepherd, she gave him a golden coach. And the golden coach was coach was carried by 12 lovely white horses. So he went to Italy. When he went to Italy, he met the queen over there. The queen invited the handsome man to her palace. And in her palace, when they were alone, the shepherd wished to marry the queen. He said, "My dearest, please marry me and I will become the king and help you to rule Italy." But as soon as he spoke these words, he immediately turned into the old ugly shepherd. Because it was magical, the ring that the fairy had given him was magical. And because the shepherd turned out to be a very greedy shepherd, he soon became an ugly and old shepherd again. And the queen was very, very angry. She was furious. She said, "What is this horrible beggar doing here? Throw him out of the palace." So her people threw him out of the palace and he became old and ugly again. He immediately went to the fields to find the fairy, but he could not find her. He was greedy and he lost everything that he had got from the fairy because of his greed. So he remained a shepherd forever. So this is the story, children. I hope you have understood the story. I want you to read the story 2 times on your own. I am going to send you the Word document for this story in ERP. Go through it carefully and then answer the questions that I am showing you. I want you to do the answers on your own first, but in case you cannot, never mind. I am giving you the answers. You can copy them down. I want you to do this work in your CW. Let's go ahead and see the exercises related to the story. Exercise A is answer the following questions. Question number 1 is, what was the shepherd doing on the fields while watching his sheep? I'm sure you know the answer. It's very easy. The answer is, the old shepherd was playing a flute while he was watching his sheep on the fields outside Rome. Number 2 is, where did the fairy live? The answer for this one is, the fairy lived under the earth. Let us see the third question. It says, why did the shepherd want to go to Rome? Answer is, the shepherd wanted to go to Rome to take leave from his friends. The fourth question is, what is the moral of the story? Now this is an answer that you can write on your own, or you can copy the one that I'm giving you. The answer is, the moral of the story is that we should not be greedy. A greedy man always remains poor. Now let us go ahead and do exercise B. Exercise B says, fill in the blank with the correct answer. There is a statement given which is incomplete, and there are some options given. You have to select the correct option and complete the sentence. So let's see what's the first sentence. The fairy wanted to marry the shepherd because the options are A. He was very handsome. B. He could play sweetly on his flute. C. He had saved her life. Now children, you have to write the correct answer in your CW notebook. For exercise B, you are going to take out a new page. Write the heading as exercise B in the margin and write the heading as fill in the blank with the correct answer. Leave a line, copy number 1, the question, and then you can only copy the correct answer. You need not copy all the 3 options. You can just write the correct answer. Just underline the correct answer that you think is correct. The second one is, as soon as the fairy put a ring on his finger, the shepherd, options are disappeared, married her, and third one is turned into a handsome youth. Similarly, like number 1, you have to do number 2 in your CW. The third one is, the shepherd went to Rome in a dash. Taxi, train, or coach. You have to select the correct answer out of all these 3. The fourth one is, the queen ordered that the shepherd should be driven out of the palace because the options are he turned old and ugly, he refused to marry her, he told her that he loved a fairy. Select the correct option and write it in your CW. Let us see the next exercise now. Exercise C is, find out the words in the story that have the opposite meaning, which means the antonyms of the words that I am giving you. I'm giving you 6 words. You have to find out the opposite words of these 6 words from the story itself and write them down in the blanks. So let's see the words. The first word is young. The second word is inside. The third word is over. The fourth word is ugly. And the fifth word is dull. The last word is laughed. Now children, you have to find out all the opposites of all these 6 words from the story that you have read. I am sending you a Word document of the story in the ERP. Kindly go through it and find out these opposites. And now let us see exercise D. Exercise D says, find out the words in the story that have the same meanings, which means synonyms, as the following. Like the previous exercise, you have to find out the same meanings of the words that I'm giving you from the story and write them down in the blanks. The first one is a musical instrument. You have to find out which is the musical instrument in the story and write it in the blank. The second one is good looking. There's a word in the story which mentions the meaning of good looking. Number 3 is a person whose job is to look after sheep. Number 4 is the ruler of a country. Number 5 is very close to heart. And number 6 is a poor person who asks for money from people. I want you to find out all these meanings from the story and write them down in the blank. You have to do all these 4 exercises, that is A, B, C and D, in your CW notebook. Remember to leave a line in between to make your work neat. With this, we come to the end of today's learning video. I am uploading the story on ERP. I want you to read it carefully 2 or 3 times and then answer the questions and do your work neatly in your CW. I want you to click pictures and upload them on ERP so that I can check. I'm going to upload all the answers on ERP tomorrow so that you can check your answers. Thank you very much for watching today's learning video. I will catch you again next week with another learning video. Till then, I want you to stay home with your family, stay safe and keep learning. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. The name of my channel is Rachna Chandarana on YouTube. You will find more English videos there. This is me, your English teacher, Miss Rachna Chandarana, signing off. Bye-bye.